doing, guys? This is BG Dino, and I am the Terrordome Soldier. Welcome to my movie review show. Today's review / show is going to be on the Running Man reboot. Let's watch this trailer and have our review. Let's go.
Ben Richards, 35, married, one child, in medical crisis. We need money for a doctor now.
Ben, watch yourself.
Employment status, blacklisted. But there's still a way out for you. It's the biggest show in the country. Bloodlust is our birthright. Set it free. Welcome to the Running Man.
People on these games never come back.
I'm not trying to get myself killed, so kiss my ass twice. Right there is why you can win this game. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. The entire nation hunting you down. And get your family out of Slumside for good. I'm gonna come back here and burn this building down. I promise. That's the spirit. This is America, goddammit! And we don't put up with no bullshit! Hunt him! Stop filming me!
Have you ever wondered if this game is rigged?
Guess we'll find out. You might be moving up too fast.
Hey, buddy. You're on freebie.
You better run! I got a grenade! Back at you. I'm still here, you shit eaters. Hey, big boys! Are you crazy?
The Running Man 2025 is the reboot to the 1987 version of Running Man. I have to be clear about this movie, Running Man. They have three types of fans. They have the fans that's stuck on the 1987 version with Arnold Schwarzenegger, which he had his own version, or you have the people that was more fans of the book, which is more close to the 2025 version. Then you got the third set of fans that never heard of neither one before, and they brand new fans to it. So let's get into it. I must admit, it took me a while to decide to watch it. Even when I watched the trailers all through the month, I said, am I gonna go see that? Am I gonna see it? Because I'm so hooked on Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know. Millennials and older and like the late X's, they stuck on Arnold Schwarzenegger. So, you know, and I fall in that category. So to be honest, you know, it was kind of tough at first. I said, you know, but I gotta do it for my fans. I know my fans wants to, you know, hear the review on it, so I have to do it. Of course, I did it because this is what I do. So at the very beginning, it made me get at ease because I was like, dang, are they disrespecting the great Arnold Schwarzenegger by making this movie? But obviously he was okay with it because he had a cameo. He was actually printed on the money. And I'm sure he loved that because everybody knows Arnold, he wanted to be the president, but he couldn't, of course. But he's printed on the money on the movie, so the currency there has his picture on it. So that right away, it made me feel a little bit more ease. I said, okay, I ain't got to sit so tensed up to watch this movie. Like I said before, you know, people take Arnold Schwarzenegger, the millennials and the late Generation X, they take him very seriously, including myself. So I'm going to tell you right off the bat. You know, I'm actually more forward to 1987 version because the Running Man in 1987, their version was the Running Man. It was more like a prison slash what's it called, execution. Yeah, because once you was on the show, that means you already was in prison and you was condemned, and that was just their way of execution. So the people they had that hunt you down, they were actually paid celebrities, but paid hunters to hunt you down in a little confined area. You couldn't go but so far. It was a controlled environment. So, like I said, it wasn't no need for you to try to escape because it was pretty much just the way you supposed to be executed because they supposed to had terrible crimes on them. This particular one, like I said, 2025 version is more like the book. The book it was a volunteer type thing instead of actually, you know, happening to go because you was in prison. Even though on 2025, once Ben Richards decided to do it, they even, you know, they still make it seem like you did something bad so people can root against you because that's how they get their rate. Because both of them were TV shows. One of them was like, you know, like regulated through the country and state because it was like a prison / execution date for them to go on the show. And then the other one, even though both of them were game shows, and this one right here was more like you had to volunteer to do it and you win like this big certain amount of money. Both of them had conspiracies dug down deep behind it. I'm not going to go through everything detail by detail, but I will say it's some things that I did like about this one, the 2025, but I like I said, I'm more stuck on the 1987 version because even though that's not true to the book, and the 2025 is true to a little bit more true to the book because, like I said, it was like on the 2025 version with the book, it was more like it was a volunteer thing. Like the world was, you know, he was desperate and he had to do it because, you know, he didn't really have much other choices. Pretty much similar to what the movie was, but like I said, on the 1987 version, it was more like Ben Richards was set up because the guy seen him and he was like, oh, my rate is getting low, so they made up some trumped up charges and put him in prison. It made him seem like he did something bad to execute a lot of people, so the fans and stuff would hate him. So they had an easy reason to stick him in there with the flares, the people that's chasing him. See, part one, it had a lot of familiar people in it. It had Jesse Ventura, he was a wrestler. Schwarzenegger, of course, you know, he's the legend. They had James Brown in it. I'm sorry, Jim Brown, the ex-football player. They had a couple of people in there, you know, that was just very familiar. What's his name? Richard Dawson. He used to host Family Feud back in the old days. So, you know, they had a lot of familiar faces on there. So, of course, you know, even though I was probably small, I was little when I seen it, I still recognize these people. On this particular movie, like I said, for people that's more into the book and the people that, you know, didn't really follow Running Man, the people that really follow Running Man, they probably got the fairest opportunity towards it because they don't have the bias of the book or the 1987 version. So, to make a long story short, they go through different scenarios. You know, it was just something about the way Arnold Schwarzenegger did. Like they had a scene where Gillian, he tried to make a deal with him and he threatened him like this.
But I hope you leave enough room for my fist because I'm going to ram it into your stomach and break your goddamn spine.
You know, there was a lot of one-liners, and I think that's one of the things that made the old one so great because of all the one-liners they had. Like little. It's a silly movie, but it's futuristic, and people always want to believe things like this can really happen, and that's why they draw so much attention. Why these kind of movies like this, you know, they get so many fans on whatever side you want, up or down, like it or don't like it. But people still like to see it, whether they agree with it or not. So, like I said, but the one thing I will say on the 2025 version, the thing was, I believe they had it too long. He had to run through the actual city that he still lived in. You know, see, I don't think that was really fair for the game. It didn't make it that exciting because you live in a city, so you know where everything's at. You know how to hide things that you may have hid before you even decided to sign up. So it was more like that. He knew people and stuff, so it was different. Then they had to the point where if somebody on the street familiar, they see your face and they take a picture and they send it to them, you know, they'll pay them like some money. So they pretty much use the citizens of the street. They pretty much put the I guess you could say put the job into the citizens Besides, they had hunters too. This one particular group of hunters, they didn't have nothing special about the hunters. It was really nothing special or unique about them. Like they had on the rest, they had Sub-Zero, they had the guy Dynamo. All of them had some kind of little silly thing. The one with the lightning. Then they got the guy named Icebox, somebody named Buzzsaw, I think. He had chainsaws. The other one had ice. He had like he was playing ice hockey with him. This was on the 1987 version. This right here, the hunters, they had no personality to me. So I think they fell flat with that. I really do. Although it still was entertaining, you know, they did have the moments where it was like little intense fighting scenes and they chasing them down. Kind of reminds me of the Judge Dredd, the second version, not the one with Sylvester Stallone, the second version. Kind of how they was hunting them down. It gave me that gritty feeling like that a little bit. So I did enjoy certain things about it. I mean, like I said, it didn't have a lot of one-liners like, you know, they get past certain people because, like I said, the hunters that was hunting them, they didn't really have no personality. So it was like once he killed him, it was like he just killed him or he got past him. You know, like when Arnold killed Sub-Zero, he made this statement here.
Sub-Zero! Now, Plane Zero!
I heard so many people quoting it. When I saw it in the movie, they're like, whatever happened to Sub-Zero? And he said that. I mean, believe it or not, it was young people. I mean, young people that's like I said, it's two different fan groups. Whether the one 1987, people that read the book, or the brand new fans. And it seemed like even the young people, you know, most of their parents be watching this, and the kids watch it too. You know, it's not really that violent. It's more like an action movie because you don't really see any blood or anything like that. Even in the 1987 one, so you know, I guess it was like PG-13, so it wasn't too bad. So I know I seen it when I was a kid, so I'm sure that I seen it because my parents watched it, just like I'm sure a lot of young kids seen it when their parents watched it. So for my understanding of the audience, from what I heard inside the audience, I think a lot of people really like the 1987 version. I mean, because some people were just so comparing it to it. I was trying my best not to keep comparing it to it because, like I said, I already realized that it was two different stories. They going off the story that they created, which was created, you know, just off thoughts of the book with the Arnold Schwarzenegger, but for 2025 was more closer towards the version from the book. So, I mean, obviously there's a lot of people that really like the old one, and I can't blame them. Like I said, with all the one-liners and things like that, it didn't really try to mimic the 1987 version too much. You know, most things it did on its own. It had a couple of little cheesy scenes where you seen they was trying hard to squeeze something in from the 1987 version, which I don't think it really needed to do that. Like, if you want to be a reboot, be a reboot. Don't be a reboot and steal parts from it. You know, do your own thing. For the most part, I believe it did. You know, like I said, maybe a few little takes that they may have done for it. With that being said, the Running Man, you're either going to be the Arnold side, or you're going to be the book side, or you're the new fan side that, you know, pretty much made your choice of which one you like. Personally, I'm the 1987 version, but that does not take away from this one. I did enjoy this one too. I was never really bored. It had fast pace, you know, the story was understandable, and that's all you really got to ask for in a movie. So my immediate reaction is very, 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 very close, almost hitting the pole. Field goal. I'm going to give it a 1-point field goal, not the 3-pointer. He gets the 1-point field goal because they barely made it. So I'm going to rate this movie a 1.9. 1.9 out of 5.5 Pterodon Soldiers. This movie is not terrible. Like I said, it has three different fan bases. You either going to pick one of the sides, and either way you put it, I believe even if you stuck on a 1987 version, just like myself and Arnold Schwarzenegger, that's why I got that old Running Man with him on my picture. Even if you stuck with that, you know, you still can find enjoyment in the 2025 version because it was fast-paced and it was moving and it was never really boring. So, like I said, I gave it a 1.9 out of 5.5 Pterodon Soldiers. It was pretty good. It's worth a go see. You know, it's not the worst movie in the world. It's not the best movie. It's right there, just right there. That it just made it. It just made it, like, just made it. That's my opinion anyway. With that being said, I'd like to thank you guys for all the support. I really appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Thank you very much. My numbers are steady going up. I'm sorry for my review being so late. I've been kind of under the weather lately. So thank you guys for all your support, and thank you guys for your patience. And my next movie I'll be bringing out is the movie Wicked. You know, I'm actually a fan of the first one, but let's see how we want to grade the second one. Let's see what BG think about the second one. If you can go back and look at my original one. In fact, the original Wicked movie is actually special to me because I believe that's maybe the third video I made once I started my YouTube page. I've only been doing this a little less than a year on my own. So that's one of the first videos I did. If you go look at it, you can see how the background is gritty, and I didn't have as much technology as I do now on how to do things. So you know, part one really holds a little special to me. So even though I was very funny on it, so I advise you, check it out for me, please. Check out the original one I did about 9-10 months ago, and then check out the new one I come. So with that being said, thank you guys. Time for my honorable mentions. Shout out to the Dante Show Network. Shout out to June 5th. Shout out to Miss Jersey. Subscribe to her channel. It's Forensic 8888. Subscribe to my buddy eBooks. Subscribe to my buddy Thug 2000. Subscribe to my buddy Be Humble and Be Humble's podcast. Be Humble is an ex-military guy. He's a veteran. He helps out a lot of soldiers during their situations, and he also does a bike tour. All these guys have content on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter and TikTok. I'm sorry. Once again, thank you guys for all the support. This is BG Dino, Terradon Soldier. Salute. I love you guys. Please be safe and stay tuned for my next video. Thank you guys for all the support. Later. Peace. And I love you. Please be safe. Bye.